Hi YouTube, I'm Aiman. In this video, I'm going to review the new Ranger 3 outdoor stove that we got recently. We already have an outdoor stove, but we got this for many reasons which I'll talk about as we go. And since I have the scale here, I'm going to measure it to see how much it weighs. Alright, so it's 28 pounds. So now I'm going to use this knife to open it and see what we got. Alright, so as we take this out of the box, I can already see that there were some issues with how it was packed. You can see all the styrofoam damage, and I think a screw fell out, a bolt. So I'm gonna take this off and see what we have. Ooh. Alright, so I took it out upside down, and here are the insides. The thing about the screws, though, is that they came in the bag and not in a separate Ziploc. And it would have been more convenient if it did come in a Ziploc, but it didn't. And that's from Camp Chef, the company. Alright, so I'm going to take out everything so that we can flip it over. And I also probably have to read out the instructions to see how to set it up. And we have a nice wrench here. I don't think this comes out, but flip it over. Huh. These are dials, I think. At least they come in a Ziploc, but not the screws. Okay, so time to read the instructions. So already my dad likes it because it's very sturdy. And they also gave us 4 dials or valves instead of 3, which this is supposed to have. So we're gonna first, and this is the spill shield. And right here has a dent. I mean, that's okay though. So first we're going to put on the valves. Make sure off is on the top. And then you're done. Next, you want to connect the hose. I'll just call it a hose. And they even gave us a wrench to do this too. Usually you're supposed to have some tape covering it to prevent leaks. My dad was a bit concerned about that, but usually we can just check for leaks with a spray later. And it says to not over tighten it, so I'll let my dad do that. Alright, so my dad likes that for a 3-burner, it's actually very tiny. It's around 29 by 12 inches. Also, for instructions, they don't actually tell you how to put on the spill or splash shield. But really, all you have to do is you gotta take pliers, and while you're screwing it in, you're going to hold the bolt like this. And then you're gonna use this hexagonal screwdriver to twist this in. So, the, what's it called? I think it's called the nut. It goes on the top of the burner, and the bolt goes on the other side of the splash shield. So I'm gonna see if I can maneuver it that way. Oh, we should start in the middle first. Okay, that's one way. And then secure it on. When I was finagling, I actually figured out that making it this way up is actually better for you. So we're going to hold on to this with, I'm going to screw it in just a bit. I'm going to hold on to it with the pliers. And then we're going to screw it in. I forgot to mention, they don't actually give you this hex wrench, but in all honesty, you actually don't really need the hex wrench because you can just tighten it by hand, but my dad likes everything to be secure, although it doesn't really need to be secure because it is a heat shield. The next step is connecting it to the propane tank. So it's pretty simple. You just put this onto the end and screw it in. If you look closely on the knob of the propane, you can see open goes left and close goes right. And my dad is gonna test it to check if there's a leakage, and let's do it. To check for leaks, all you have to do is take some soap or Windex right here and spray it on the places where it could leak. And if it bubbles up, that means that it is leaking. And I don't think it's bubbling up, so it's good. So my dad's a bit cautious because under this nice tablecloth of my mom's, there is wood. And he doesn't want to burn it, so he wants to take this wood paneling and put it under the burner so that it doesn't, you know, flame the tablecloth or anything. So we're gonna do that. It's 31 by 13 inches, so it should fit. Perfect. The good thing about this burner is that it has a self-igniter, and I'll show you how to do it. So basically, you want to turn the knob, you want to push to turn, and just turn it a little bit. Make sure you don't burn the tent. It's going to click, but you might not see anything. And then you want to turn it off. So basically how it works is that when you push and turn it, the igniter, if you see right here, it's going to light it, and then the gas is going to come out, and then that's gonna cause the fire to happen. And when you do that, you want to set it back to low and control the flame. Alright, so you see the flame is yellow, right? We want it to be blue. And under the knob, you can see air vent adjustment behind face cover. And what that does is that it controls the air and the fire mix. So if there's more air, then the flame is going to be yellow. We want it to be blue. So we're going to feel around under here. Be careful for the switch. And then you're going to turn it so that it becomes blue. It should be like a triangle shaped thing. And just a bit more. Where is it? And that's how far it will go. So now we're going to test the other two burners. So just push it and then turn it slowly. Adjust it. And it seems like it's already adjusted. It's blue flames right now, so that's good. And then turn it. So my dad saw that the third burner didn't work. However, after finagling for a few minutes, we saw that the igniter was actually bent. So we bent it back to its original position, and if you see here, that's where it's supposed to be. And then we tested it. And as you can see, it works. And the manual actually says if you can't get the igniter to ignite, then use a long nose burner. But then, what's the point of a self-igniting burner if it won't ignite? So my dad was actually debating whether or not to put this back in the box and send it back to the people to get another one and replace it. However, my dad, he fixed it, so it's good. The reason that he was debating over it is because we actually need this burner because my dad is taking apart my mom's 40-inch stove and oven to fix it. It's gonna take a few weeks, so we're probably gonna be spending a few weeks cooking on this burner right here. And the thing about it is that 40-inch stove, there's only like one brand, Frigidaire, and it costs around $3,000. And if he gets a smaller one, then he's gonna have to replace it. He's gonna have to replace the lost space with like a cabinet, and after that, he has to replace the countertop too. So that's gonna be an extra $500 too. I forgot to mention, our range is electric, not gas. And gas is actually cheaper than electric. Anyway, so right here we have a Fill and Streams outdoor burner that we bought from Dick's. We've had it for around 10 years, and we like that it's quite big, and there's also this shelf that we can use. However, the problem is that it's not a self-igniter. And also, if you look here, the distance between the actual stovetop and the burner is quite high. So that means you can only use large pans, because if you use a smaller pot or something, then the flames, because they get too high, they're gonna go around it and maybe harm you. It's also gonna cause a black sludge on the bottom that's hard to clean out. I think that's called burn residue. So we can only use large pots or pans like this. So the thing my dad likes about this is that it's also been a blind burner, which means that it's protected from the wind. So for that one, it has a cover, and when the flames are high, it's not really that big of a deal, but when the flames are low, it kind of is. For this one though, he also has been eyeing it for a long time because it has 3 burners, which means they can put 3 small pots or 2 large pots or pans, or, this is the kicker, griddles. Not girdles, the undergarment, but the ones that you can bake steaks or pancakes on. I like to cook pancakes on them. And it's also reversible. See, you have the flat side for like pancakes and this side for meat. And if you can also put it like you can put a small pot and a griddle together, and that allows for many pairs of cooking. So it's really, what's that called? So I lost my train of thought. The word I was actually thinking of is versatile. Anyway, my dad has really been eyeing this for a long time because, one, we already took apart the range, so we need a replacement oven, and it's already getting dark out, and we really want to eat. We're hungry, so that means we can cook. Tonight, we're going to be cooking curry dogging on this, and it's a simple Malaysian dish, and with that, we're going to do a series of videos on how to cook Malaysian dishes. We started with curry, and we're going to go on to rendang, laksa, biryani, even. And this is a good opportunity because my mom isn't here, so I really have only Azami, Fikri, Amirul, and my dad. So this is a good opportunity for even more videos. And as you can see behind me, we have a setup of an open-air restaurant so that they can taste test our dishes. I said curry dogging. I don't actually know if I'm going to be cooking dogging or chicken. If I do cook chicken, I'm going to cook beef in the next one, and if I do cook beef, I'm going to cook chicken in the next one. Anyway, stay tuned for those videos. And it's a really good opportunity to have this burner because then we can do videos like, I don't know, Gordon Ramsay, but, you know, without all the screaming and all. I even have my own tent here. With a kitchen, it isn't as easier to film it because it's a tighter space, too. And we have an island in there, so it's not, you can't film it. One thing I forgot to mention is that altogether, these 3 burners, they have a total of 51,000 British thermal units, and I'm not sure what that means, but if you're a cook, you probably know what that means. So they probably, each of them have around 17,000 British thermal units each. Any information I forgot to say, I'm going to list in the description below. I'm also going to put links there, including the Camp Chef website. If you want to go there, you can check out their description on it. Also, a piece of advice, don't order from their website. You can also get it from Walmart for around $100. On their website, it's around $150. Also, Walmart, when we ordered it, Walmart only gave it to us in a few days, so that's good too. Fast delivery. Alright, it's getting dark. I should start on the dishes. I'm Aiman, and thanks for watching. Please like, rate, comment, subscribe, and look at other videos on EYeOnAiman. Remember to stay tuned for my cooking videos too. Chef Aiman, signing out. Peace. So the final verdict after a couple days of cooking is that my dad really likes the stove. Even if you're camping or even using this as a spare stove, I would definitely recommend using this. It's heavy duty and definitely worth the money. I mean, in the past, my dad has used some other brands like Coleman, but he definitely recommends this as his all-time favorite. It's heavy duty. Great job to Camp Chef. However, my main critique is that since it's all one stove, it's all connected. That means if you're heating something up here, it could potentially heat up other sides, and if you place like a spatula here, it could melt. Also, if you place food and it gets out of the pan and lands here, it could probably just stick to it and be hard to clean up. But if you are if Camp Chef does make like a Ranger 4, my recommendation is to either use a material on the stovetop that doesn't get too hot, or separate the burners so that they don't heat up each other. Or at least, because my dad, he actually touched it when it was hot and almost burned himself, at least put a caution hot surfaces label on it, just to make sure that people don't touch it. I mean, for a Coleman here, it doesn't really get too hot, so if you are making a Ranger 4, keep these changes in mind, Camp Chef. Thank you. So, to sum up, it's excellent all around, especially for campers, and we're probably going to use this next year for camping. We used to use this Coleman right here, it was the small propane, but now we can use the big propane. It's probably going to last longer too.